Time for Pop Pop Plays.
Hello and welcome back to Pop Pop Plays, Pop Pop Plays 2-Point Museum. This is the third episode in my Fantasy Finds DLC series. We have started a museum on the new map that came out with the free DLC, and we're theming it using the Fantasy Finds DLC items. If you watched the last episode, we ended by tearing down the museum I had built up till that point. I didn't like how things were kind of flowing through there, plus I just kind of do that every map anyway, so I can start fresh and lay out rooms and hallways how I want to do, but that's expensive and it's time consuming. I've been playing for a little bit, so I've already got quite a bit set up, if you recall from the differences between the last museum and this one. So you see in this one we have currently just one central entry location, and right now this is good enough. We only have still under 100 people in the museum anyways, so one ticket booth is going to be fine. And this opens into a large open kind of foyer with some just teasers of what the museum may have. A couple of wings that come off this side has some fast food, some vending machines rather, so people who might be a little bit hungry can eat in here, and a place to sit and some decorations. This side has what is basically a blank hallway for now. I need to decorate this probably with some benches and maybe some flags. I'm not quite sure what I want to do here. It's not a great use of space, to be honest, but then it opens into the nope, that was carpet. Nope, that's that guy. Nope, that's that guy. Can't quite get it for some reason. There we go. The realization station, which is a good, cheap entertainment interactive display. I've decorated kind of the area around it to give it a 5 out of 5, which is not hard to do. And it just, I find this thing is really good to insert into small areas that you're not quite sure what to do with, especially in my museums anyways. It tends to be pretty close to the entrance. In here, I like to have a good, big, central, eye-popping display, and I think the Hydrosaurus skeleton is a good option for that. We don't really have like a Tyrannosaurus skeleton, although we do have kind of a couple of big ones, but this is my choice, at least for this museum. Felt backing it with a wall with the water looks pretty good, and then each corner has kind of what the museum's mostly theming for, so this kind of signifies a prehistory exhibit. The banner for fantasy, a mechanical thing for science and kind of the steampunky stuff, and then a space little attraction there. And they also kind of correspond to the direction you want to go in if you want to see the stuff. So steampunk, science, and space are in this direction. Fantasy and prehistory are going to be in this direction. To kind of top this stuff off, I've got prehistory and fantasy gift shop, a employee only area which will lead then into both helipads with the usual employee items that you need, a cafeteria right near the central location. And a lot of times I tend to push the cafeterias out towards the wings on the assumption that people coming in probably aren't all that hungry. This is closer to the entrance than I normally do. But as you can see, we've got people here, plus it's close to the employee area, so employees can come down here and eat. I have one bathroom right now. This is the only one, and I need to work on adding a couple more probably towards the wings. Right now this is doing me okay, but I'm starting to see issues crop up. I had kind of just this open area, but this actually ended up being a really good spot for the Mudberry Festival sign. Decorate around it so it looks nice and give them a donation stand. Probably doesn't need to be large really, and that gets a little bit of attraction through there. And you can see this side I've decorated pretty fully. I decided I wanted to use, part of my goal here was use more hallways and more open areas. A lot of my museums are kind of packed and sort of crushed together. I wanted to have something a little more open, a little more airy, but it's eating up a lot of map space, and my worry is customers running out of energy before they get far enough in the museum. So we'll see whether that's actually a problem or not. You can see the hallway is decorated. Got a bench, we got trash cans, and that's kind of one of the bigger things. I try to make sure, at least along the walls for the most part, that I have benches and trash cans pretty regularly spread out. You can see we've got places in here to sit and trash cans. The bottom part of this leads into the new frozen area, and we picked up the beehive and the fridge. I don't like the fridge, but I did pick up a pristine version of it, so I decided I'd stick with it. That may get swapped out at some point. Still can't get a pristine version of the frozen cave person. The rest of this is pretty much set up how it was, but with more space, so I can put in things like little walls and kind of block stuff off a little bit better. Again, we got benches around the edge. We've got tour station. I added a little fantasy fire brazier in a couple of spots, kind of just to mix it up, because they're really beyond the rocks, and the pillars aren't a lot of frozen stuff. That really kind of works. But it's a pretty good room. I think this worked out pretty nicely. If you continue on, you'll find what we've now, a new thing has added 2 big fish tanks, and I'll explain that in a moment. Actually, probably ought to explain it now. You can see they're just long. The point to the fish tanks, before you get any further, and we had discussed this in the last episode, is when you build up a decent sized museum and then break it down, unless you fire a whole lot of your employees, you're going to start running into really bad staff wage deficit every month, because it'll take a while before you can build back up to a really working museum. So you'll see I'm at negative 30,000 for the staff wages, and I've got to make that up somehow. One of those ways is, I showed you before, you can go to Greasy Fields, and that's worth a minimum of 3,000 minimum of 2,000 every shot. But somebody pointed out one of the passive ways you can make money is the fish, not just selling them, but you can raise them. So every time, in here I've got seahorses and water dragons. In here I'm working on floating fish, flying fish, and clownfish, but I don't have any of the extras, and that's capacity is a little small, so I may have to kick one of these fish types out, because I don't think I want to expand that. That'll work though. But the fish are worth a decent amount. 3,000 for the seahorses. The sea dragons are worth 5. These guys are quite a bit less, 2,500. 2,000 for the clownfish, and the pufferfish 3,500. So I'll probably get rid of the clownfish, make room just for the flying fish and the pufferfish. But basically, I want a way to make money as I can go along for the times that I have the game unpaused. You'll notice, not notice, but really when you're rebuilding, you probably should not unpause the game. You probably should just leave it paused while you build. But I like to kind of see where people are going and see how stuff is working. So I unpause for fairly large stretches of time. Plus, as I'm building up new areas, I want to see, I want to get sometimes new exhibits. So like the fridge and the beehive. So I've sent stuff out. I hadn't had a finished version of the Hydrosaurus at the end of last episode. That was expensive because each run for that is think 30,000. And you don't always guarantee that you're going to get that. There's another, the lanternfish fossil is in the same spot, which is a little annoying. But we ran it. As I explained, that's why you want to have really a couple 100,000 extra before you break everything down. So when we broke everything down, we had more than $1 million worth of money banked to rebuild, but we've used up basically all of that from the old museum. I've paid a few months worth of salary, and we're down to essentially what we had banked up before bulldozing everything down, which is fine. We've still got plenty of room, but we need to get all of these wings up and running so that we can have enough profit to justify the staff that we still have on. And I've fired actually quite a few people, but I've still got 15 experts. Let's just do that. I want to keep all 4 of the fantasy guys. I picked up a botany expert because one of the locations I needed a botany expert, and I may actually add plants into the museum anyways, so it seemed like a good time. I may have to fire him though. I picked up a second marine life expert so that one of them could take care of the fish tanks while the other one went on missions. Dropped down to 4 prehistory experts, keeping Darwin Charleston, who's part of the scenario here. I don't know if I need to do anything more with him, but just in case. And then I kept 2 tour guides rather, and one who can do a lot of the restoration stuff. Plus he's got survey skills just in case I need to send him on an expedition. Really, I could probably get rid of Brachioraptor if I needed to, and just leave Darwin to clean stuff up and then run the occasional mission. But he runs the Greasy Fields mission anyways, so he's making money just slowly. Still have 1 science expert, more for tour guide stuff. I haven't finished these rooms yet. I forgot, because I fired the other science expert, that I needed to put them for restoration. So these were starting to degrade massively before I realized what my mistake there was. That's fine. I've got 2 space guys, and I can probably get rid of... Oh yeah, I did. I fired him. I really only needed 1. I've got the supernatural expert, which I could fire. I'm hanging on to him because I need to run him for one of the Bones missions, one of the Bones expeditions. But I probably, if things get really grim, he'll have to go, and then I'll just hire another one later. It's just kind of a waste of money if I do that. Sunk cost fallacy. Down to 8 assistants. You have 2 that are available. 1 that's on a break. I'm probably on the verge of firing 1 more of these guys. Not quite sure yet. That just may be a little more than I need. Down to 4 janitors, and that was kind of a hard cut. It's always a little hard to tell how many janitors you need until you really, really need them. This mission's pretty handy because Yetis don't create trash. So especially early on in the scenario, that's all you're getting are Yetis, so you never have to worry about janitors picking up trash. So you can get by with fewer janitors, especially early in this. And even now, a good portion of my guests are Yetis. 4 seems to be working. I'm just not entirely sure. Security guards, I'm not really willing to get rid of any of these guys unless I specifically have to. I don't want my stuff stolen, and I don't really have enough security cameras up yet. That's something I do kind of late, so I need to just kind of be on the lookout. You can see a little bit in the main room and a little bit over here. Not much, so I need to do more. In fact, I had a mole man invasion and had to just carefully watch the entire map to make sure none of them nabbed anything and took off. So that's kind of where we're sitting, like, economics wise. We did do similar to the one down here. We have an interactive display up here. I felt like this was a pretty good spot to put the goofy looking dinosaur. It's so I mean, it is a playground, obviously, but it's so goofy playground looking that honestly, I kind of don't like it anywhere near the actual exhibits, which is an issue because its buzz bonus is near any prehistory exhibit. So I'll probably get something and just put it out here as just an extra thing. I'm just not sure what. I've been kind of waffling back and forth on how to use this space here. But you see, coming out of the gift shop, you've got another hallway here, also decorated, which goes into my fossil room, which I think is pretty well decorated. I like the 2 feet on the either side of the carpet. I think it's kind of a cool effect. Not sure. I wonder if the carpet should just go all the way down to the end of this hallway. I might do that. Maybe stretch it all the way back too. I'll have to think about it. I've got another tour in here. Tours are great because they tend to be a moneymaker, not a big one, but enough that it pays a decent extra amount. Plus, it helps give people buzz and knowledge, especially if your guy gets their tour guide up high enough. You can get a pretty decent extra amount. This hallway got a bunch of stuff in it too. Decided the pipe kind of looked good. It makes a bit of sense in a frozen Arctic base. So that's kind of cute. This leads into the amber room, essentially. There's really only the 3 pieces. I'm not sure if are there any that I'm missing for amber. I forget. There are 2, but I've literally not discovered them yet, so they're on a map that I've just not been on. And then I still, like I had before, I have the wall painting curve just kind of as an extra in here. And then I thought this was a pretty good spot to put the Relic River, and it seems to be fitting in pretty good. It's one of the things you want the kids to stay entertained, and so after a decent amount of distance, you want to always put another entertainment interactive display so they can do something and be entertained as they move along. So stuff early, and then kind of as you spread out. If I get ambitious in the future, I'll probably expand this to something about that size and put in like the seahorse racers, which is always a good draw. I did ring this. This is going to be my main behind the scenes area, essentially ringing the 2 helipads, and this way I can build the museum around it, which is my plan. I'm looking at here. Pick up or sell. Okay. I'll deal with that later. So the museum will ring around it, and then I can put hallways off so that the idea would be that you're never that far from the employee area. And then the outskirts will probably have a couple of small spots for employee areas, specifically break rooms. Over here is the steampunk area, and you can see that I have not done anything yet. I've finished this side first, these rooms, and now I'm going to work on this to get all of this pretty good, and then I'll probably have a room off of here for dwarven artifacts, and then move up this way towards space stuff is the plan. What I may do is move from here to here for dwarven, and then space stuff kind of essentially up in this direction, and then it all comes around and it'll all just meet in the center with fantasy essentially stretching across. So this will go forward for the rest of the dinosaur skeletons in here, leading into what I hope to be an area to put whatever it is, if it's just 2 or 3 of the dragon bones, and then into the fantasy stuff, essentially along the back is what my plan is. And then have, as it circles, and some individual rooms coming off like spokes on a wheel, is what I plan to do. See if there's anything else to point out. Not really. Having a lot of fun with this. The real issue now is to hit the point where my monthly profit is in the positive, and I'm getting closer and closer. I'm still at negative 10,000 for this month. Some months, depending on what happens, I get a little bit closer, but I'm not quite there. Filling these rooms up and I'm putting a tour in here is going to help. And then I'll need a start putting in the space stuff and put a another gift shop over here for space and science, and another cafeteria, probably one here and one here, and run 3 cafeterias. Sometimes they can make a decent amount of money. Sometimes they're, depending on your location, they're not that great. One thing I have not really checked is I did not change the prices on anything. So got my 2 sponsorships. Comfortable, worth the money, too soon, worth the money. Looks like it's mostly worth it. So I feel like that's a little bit weird. I'm not really sure what the pricing decision is by the game, how much stuff you need to make it worth the money or not. But apparently I have enough stuff on here that it is worth it. So great. I love that. I got plenty of people in the gift shop, which is super. And the cafeteria is running mostly okay. So that's good too. All right. Well, that is the update. Probably have at least one more episode when things are kind of more fully fleshed out to go over specifically the Fantasy Finds DLC items that I pick up and kind of my final take on that. So that'll probably be a little bit, because it's going to take a while to get all of the rest of this built and things going. But look forward to that. Hit that notification bell if we'll let you know when I get that up. Hit like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any suggestions, or if you've blown up your own museum and had any issues with that. Hope to see you soon. Bye.